And we're live. Hey guys, welcome back to Whiskey Charlie, the War Game Chat, our monthly show on YouTube. I'm your host, Mo from Mo's Game Table, and joining me are my co-hosts, everybody's favorite Gimp with the Limp, the Gimpy Gamer, Nate Rogers. How's it going, Nate?
The glorious day in the core, man.
I was waiting for that line.
Yep.
And the War Game Wizard from Oz, Kev Sharp from the Big Board. How's it going, man?
Every month he says the same thing, and I am doing great. Good to be here.
Awesome. I like hearing the same thing every month from you guys, too, that everything's great or glorious.
Glorious.
Better than last couple weeks when we tried to do the show and I lost power. That sucked.
That was terrible.
Yeah, it was right before.
Yeah, it dropped and then it came back. Then it dropped and it came back. And then it dropped and didn't come back. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. And all it was doing was raining. There was no storm or anything. It was just rain.
Yeah, there were already people in the chat just like this. Yeah. They were already there, and I had to let them know, like, sorry, guys. Mo said he doesn't want to talk to you guys this evening. We got to push it back.
You guys suck. Yeah.
Did you guys, Mo, did you give everybody a refund on that?
I did. I gave everybody a refund. And did you change your mic? Because now it sounds like it's coming off your camera.
Yeah. Yeah, your sound quality went down a little bit there.
Yeah. Sounds like he's across the room. Yes, I did. I got my backup generator ready. Now watch, I said that it's going to die and I won't.
No, just don't say anything. I don't want to jinx any of our equipment.
No.
Yours is working. Mine's working. Kev's is working.
Well, we're trying to figure Kev's mic out now. So
is that okay?
No.
Same.
Yeah, it's like it changed his mic as soon as we went live.
It's almost like when we go to play 6 days. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Is that
I can hear you? So anyway, what we're going to do is, first thing we'll do is while Kev's working on that, we're going to start off with you, Nate, and we're going to have a little Halloween recap, how to go with the kids.
Halloween was good. It was short but quick. I'll tell you what, coldest day we've had in North Carolina all year was Halloween night. Day before, it was perfect. We're talking like 70-degree weather, dry, warm. And then the day of Halloween, it's like 30 degrees and misting outside. Had to carry an umbrella. I mean, I miss the days when I was a kid and you can put on a t-shirt and you're fine. Me and the wife both bundled up, sludging our asses all over the neighborhood. But my little girl did have her first time trick-or-treating. And I was taking her around while the wife was kind of ahead with the three older ones. And that was the most adorable thing, man. She just loved it. She kept saying, happy Halloween to everybody. And she kept telling people, you're welcome. So I mentioned that to you. I would get her up and she'd say, tick a cheat, and get the candy, put it in her little bucket. She's all happy. And I was like, say thank you. And she looks at him, you're welcome. Turns and goes running off, just happy as she can be. I mean, she's 2, so everything she does is adorable.
Yeah. That's adorable.
But yeah, the kids had a great time. It was fun. It's always a blast when they're this age. I'm trying to enjoy it while I can. They're going to turn into teenagers and assholes soon enough.
Wow. Wow.
I've got $3. I've got a World of Hurt line ahead of me in the next 10 years.
Yeah, that's going to be a little rough.
Good
thing you're a family counselor.
Let them marry up, right?
Yeah. Teach them to marry up. Say, hey, go find the guy with the money. Latch on.
If I can get them to marry rich, all the better. I can't afford to pay for their weddings.
That's true.
I'm trying to find a rich rancher's daughter for my eldest to marry.
Your oldest is doing fine from what I saw. Is he the one you posted a picture of in the funny Halloween costume?
That's the youngest in the little land. Mary had a land.
Yeah,
he's doing Thanksgiving photographs this weekend. The guy is like,
wow,
you know what wit, right?
Oh yeah. But you know what though?
Looked like he was doing fine.
I was gonna say. I can't blame the kid.
Yeah.
Did you notice that 100% of the comments were, "No, I think he's doing just fine."
Yeah,
he's doing great. Yeah, good-looking kid with a good-looking girl.
Yeah, that was great.
Is
the sound okay now?
Same.
Tolerable.
Wow. Well, not sure what to do. Sorry. I'll talk louder.
You know what it is? Maybe check your set. Did you check your settings at the bottom?
Yeah, I didn't change anything. All I did was to take the headset off while we were doing the little routine.
You didn't hit a button on there?
Uh,
Because I know if I change my microphone, let's see what you guys think here.
How is that better?
That's
There you
better.
go.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what I did when I took my headset off?
You
I
turned
put it down. I turned it around. It
Yeah.
was on that side.
I was gonna say you put it on backwards.
Why
I
is
change
that?
my microphone and then I'll put it back.
Yeah. See, that was the problem. Is it had the sound dampening face towards his mouth. That's why it sounded distant.
Like, hey guys,
I would have thought that would have been better.
can you hear me?
Hey,
So,
oh shit! It's
what about
Friday.
you, Kev? What about you, Kev? Did you get any trick or treaters over at your place?
Dude at the farm, I think it gets shot, man. Yeah, come on.
That's why I was wondering if anybody ventured out that way.
No, I mean there's no where we two horses meandered by and I heard a goat bleat. That's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't get anybody here either. I mean, where we used to live in Allen, we'd get
Right.
a lot of kids, and we would go out there and we'd sit on the front stoop. Well, actually, we'd go down halfway and just sit there on the front walkway, and sit there and just have the candy ready for them as they came up, because we enjoyed watching
Right.
little ones walk around and
Right.
seeing what they were, talking to them, having fun, and it was great. But no one does it here. It's like, wow, okay,
Yeah,
that's fine.
when we were in Austin, we would go around the corner to the neighbor's place where they had all these little cul-de-sacs and stuff, and people set everything up, and it was great
Yeah.
for everybody, right? And then it's kind of weird because at some point, I guess other communities find out about the fact that you have a really good Halloween gig,
Yeah.
and then they come
yeah.
raid everything and just scoop
yeah.
all the candy and take everything. So people kind of said, well, heck with that, we won't do that anymore. So that ended. But fortunately, our kids were all older. They didn't care. So.
Yeah.
What's going on with Pumpkin there? What's the deal?
I think she's coming in to tell me goodnight. She's become Daddy's little buddy, especially since Halloween. She's been all over me, so she wanted to come in and.
Well, it's because you're sweet
toys.
as candy, Daddy.
Do you see her new glasses?
I love those
I know.
glasses. Tell her I love them.
Yeah. Say
She's
hi.
adorable.
Look, you're on camera. You're on TV.
Daddy.
Yeah, that's Daddy.
That's right.
That's Mo and that's Kev. See, they're waving at you. Yeah, and you're more interested in the little block Daddy fidgets with. Yeah, unfortunately, she's blind as a bat, so she has these thick ass Coke bottle glasses. But
Yeah, but it was great to see her put them on and the reaction the first time she looked through them.
Yeah, like dude, she just froze, and it was like as she's
You can
looking
actually
around.
see.
Yeah, she
That's
could finally
awesome.
see.
Have you seen those videos where the people get to hear for the first time?
Oh yeah, talk about emotional. Wow.
Yeah.
That's-
See the one guy. You see the one guy with his wife, and she was just going crazy about it, and the guy was like going like this, and said to the guy, "Take it off, take it off."
Oh man.
I think it
Oh.
may have been set up, but it was pretty funny.
Oh, that's great.
He didn't want to hear his wife.
Uh-oh.
So the other thing that I wanted to say is, number one, it was after the fact anyway. By the time we would have the show, but congrats to Mark for the latest OST Kickstarter. That one funded well. And,
Oh yeah.
OST Volume 4. So that's great to see. That really did well. I would have loved to seen it doing better. Of course, obviously he would too, but I think it's done well. I think that what hurts it, I don't want to say hurts it, but what makes it less attractive is the theater is not as widely, it's not as popular as East Front or West Front or something like that.
Yeah, he could have done Volume 4, East Front, 1943, June through July, and done $200,000, right?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
everyone would have gone, oh my gosh, it's
East
going to have the Armada V2.E-S7 with the 120 billion millimeter round. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but I like that it's Sicily. I was rooting for the expansion to get the Brits in there, but it didn't happen. I even ordered a second copy. I need to cancel that one. I'm buying all the bits and pieces. I'm all in on OST. I love it. I love
Nice. I'm looking forward to Modern. I'm really looking forward to Modern. When they get to that one.
Yes, that's going to be
That should be
sexy.
fun.
Is that in the
Really?
works?
Yes.
Yeah, very close. Very close. And starting with Afghanistan, am I right? Or is it later? I
85
think
is
it's
Afghanistan. I can't remember
85
if theirs is Afghanistan too.
Is it? I'm not sure. I think
I know 85 is Afghanistan, the one like 65, the card game system.
Yeah,
that one.
no. I know
Oh,
about
yeah.
that, but I was thinking about OST. I could have
I'm not sure.
sworn maybe it's sort of Fallujah era, like
That would
first
be
and
even
second
better.
Iraq.
Really modern, yeah. More, closer to today. But it'd be nice if they do a bounce, like they do something like Afghanistan, and then they have the Soviets and the Afghanis, and then they just say, "Hey, by the way, here's some Americans. Now we're going to just push it up to 2003 or
Right.
2005 or 8 or whatever."
Right. Right, because the
Same troops,
same
pretty much.
yeah. Same
Yeah.
bad guys anyway,
Same
right?
equipment that we paid for, that we bought for them.
Yeah.
Everything else. And then we had one that I know Nate has actually played both of these games, Kalkengall and the Assault Sicily from the Assault system, Red Horizon. So why don't you talk about those, Nate? Because those are on GameFound. Or Sicily, I think isn't Sicily done now?
If it's not done, it's close.
It's really close. I know that. If not
Yeah.
done, yeah.
I know
he did it for-
that module looks really good.
It does.
He took what was already good, because Red Horizon was already good, right?
Yep.
And he just improved it across the board, right? Added in a new faction with the Italians, different types of Germans, different area, and then, because Red Horizon was Soviets and the Germans.
Mhm.
So now we've got Americans, Germans, and Italians in this one. So it's nice to see the Americans included. Big thing was the inclusion of things like pillboxes, bunkers, tank traps, barbed wire. Has rules for changing the terrain now, right? So you can have effectively destructible terrain, and that can even happen in not just like a building hex collapsing, which you would expect, but you can have that happen in like a clear hex. So a clear hex will go from clear to cratered. And it's set up to do that under certain circumstances. So if you have an HE type attack, then if it scores an uncanceled critical, then it's going to cause that destruction. And the destruction is going to vary just depending. Also added in for the troop management board, which is a board that is going to force you to manage your troops' morale in a sense. So you're not worried about like the individual points per se, but if you start taking too many losses, like you can't just go gung-ho with it, because your forces will start to withdraw, start to surrender, and then they'll just flat out rout, at which point you'll lose the match. So you have to be a little more careful in what you're going for, but there's a counterbalance to that if you gain victory control points, then that's going to reduce that penalty. So the points lost that you'll incur from losing troops, you'll gain some of that back from gaining those control points. So it keeps you from going just wild, willy-nilly, and just storming up the middle and hoping for the best and the dice gods, having to be a little more strategic in the choices that you make. But it's just more of what was already good. Assault Red Horizon I loved. I thought it played excellent. Solitaire, he's kept with that and just added a whole bunch of extra goodness to it.
It's the right way to do it. You don't fix what's broke, not fix what's not broke, basically.
Yeah, if you know how to play.
Also, making the play deeper gives people the choice to explore more, and they go back and revisit old scenarios and see how they play with the new rules and stuff like that. So I think that's smart. That's good.
Well, it's all optional though, right? So
which is perfect, right?
Yeah,
right.
To an extent, there's the core rules, and then pretty much everything advanced is optional, and you can add in whatever you choose. But the biggest strength of the game is still its order of battle, because there is no set order of battle. If you guys remember, it's all based on those formation cards. And I freaking love that, having a random selection. So if I play this battle, now I might have this selection of units, but I could redraw different formation cards and have a completely different setup, even if it was the same forces, like Americans were still defending, Germans were still attacking, but the game would play completely different. on the second go round because the formation cards are going to be different for each one of them. Now you can pick if you want. You have the option to just pick based on points for your forces.
Right.
But
which is cool because then you can go and say, well, what would have happened at this battle that if the 15th Panzer had been there instead of him goring whatever, right? I mean, you could have done that type of thing.
Sure. Or a unit that was historically held up and didn't make it to the unit to the battle. You just add them in there. As well, or if the weather changed, how would that affect things? So those are the fun what ifs. So you can kind of mess with little variables and see what kind of impact they would have.
Yeah. Plus, it's got the custom dice, which I always love custom dice.
Yeah,
because
you're a die ho.
Yeah, I get so tired. It's not that I hate like D6, man, but you see either D6 or 2D6 on so many games, it just kind of wears on you. You want to see something different. Yes. Anything past 10 fingers and I'm lost, man.
Marines.
I can go to 20 if I don't have shoes on, but other than that, 20 in a big one, but other than that, that's high as I can count, bud.
I had to throw that in there, didn't you?
I couldn't resist.
Leave that out. Right?
I couldn't resist. But to address your other point of Caulk and Gall, I can never say that.
Caulk and Gall.
Caulk and Gall. Sounds like I'm choking on myself. It's just more. It's just a different version. I'm not hating on it. It's not bad by any means. But if you've played Freezing Inferno, then you know what you're getting with Caulk.
Looks like it's rethemed. I was wondering what changes, if there were any, from the base game to that.
So you know how Freezing Inferno, the goal was to take control of, 2 out of 3 cities? If I remember right. All right, so basically there are 3 major cities. Those are the 3 areas you're blow me. This you're going after.
Nice.
And this one,
into that yourself.
There's actually a lot more cities spread across the board, but there's like a central 9 that you're fighting over, right? Mm-hmm. So if I remember right, the Japanese start with 3 and the Soviets start with 6, and then there's 9 in the center. And sorry, my camera froze, but I'm still here. The 9 in the center are considered in a way neutral. So the Japanese start with control, but the Soviets are trying to take control of those. The Soviets have to gain a larger board control than the Japanese do to really achieve victory. But the Japanese have the ability to gain, I think it's just a couple of key Soviet cities. If they are able to gain them, they can get like an instant win. The big deal on it is the Kalkangol River, which is roughly down through the center of it, and it prevents troop movement. So there's only a few places that you can cross. There's a couple fords, one north and south, and then each side has a couple of bridges they can set. Mm-hmm. So you have to decide based on that. They did include commanders in this one that give units a bonus. So there's an artillery commander, an infantry commander, tank commander, and Stuka here. But those commanders can confer a combat bonus to their type. So infantry will get a infantry unit. Very specifically, it's only conferred to a single unit. Right? So it's not all infantry units within its range. It can pick one that gets that bonus. Same with artillery or tanks. You do have the option, though, to kind of pick. You have to have 3, but you can pick to have the tank have a higher advantage and like the infantry have a lower advantage, or all of them have the same level of advantage. There's a little bit of variability, if you get what I'm saying, on the advantage that you get. They are also, lastly to note, doing, again, 2-sided board. So if you want options for your map, you have it. For those who like,
it's a little weird because both maps look the same.
No,
I mean, one looks slightly more detailed than the other.
One's more detailed. The other is very ASL.
Looks like ASL.
Yeah.
The other one looks like an ASL map.
Yeah. I wasn't sure I liked the color scheme on one of them, and the other one I was kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I wish the palette was a little different, a little more lively.
That's the thing.
It's hard, right? Because they went from this cartoon thing with the Finnish thing, which was just terrible, and
I loved it
historically wrong. Of course you did.
Yeah.
And then you had the This one, which is kind of like this drab, like khaki greeny.
But they
browny,
did that because people
it's
complained.
It's like someone ate spinach and beans together and then took a thing and it spread over the map. It's
That's
just a thought, kind of.
Well,
so
see,
many
the
people
difference-
complained. They figured, okay, well, people complain about the map, so we're going to give them a very basic map. Choice between a better map and a very just, hey, it's a yellow hex or a green hex or brown hex.
But the thing is the first one looked like a Christmas card, a cartoony Christmas card in the last game, and then they made it a little more war game like, much more war game like on the second side. This time they're both war game like. I think they got it right because, like Jeff had talked about when he did an unboxing, I think of it, he talked about how the Kelp and Goal actually goes right between the hexes, which is something that not all war games do. They cut through some hexes.
Right.
They actually made it where it's on either hex side, which is great.
Yeah. Right. So that was geographically accurate, which was cool.
Yes.
And that was my issue with the finish thing, was because it just was wrong. Right. I mean, I couldn't tell. Really, it's
Where's the marsh?
It's all forest or Suomi, or whatever it's called. The marsh, and so there's no real open terrain. And I know it's probably a game feasibility mechanic, whatever thing, but nevertheless, it just was. You look at it and go, well, that's not Finland. I haven't looked at so many other maps. I'm like, I played that. I played like 3 different games on that topic.
Yeah,
that's wrong. That's wrong. Like really wrong. But anyway, you like the game though, right?
Yeah, I think the game's fine. The mechanics are good. I like the stacking. They're doing the same thing they did with Freezing Inferno. The strength points associate with how many counters you have stacked with it. You have the ability to divide the stacks out if you want to, divide your forces around, which it really seems like the Japanese player is going to have to do if they want to fight back the Soviets. Because just in my time with it, I feel like the Soviets will have an easier time than the Japanese, because the Soviets start with a power base. They have a handful of cities, and I think their cities go up to like 6 points, right? Production points, the amount of points you get to produce new units. And the way that their cities are focused, it prevents them from having to spread across as much of the map to maintain their production value. Whereas the Japanese are kind of spread over 2/3 of the map, and they have to kind of guard everything. The Soviets can zero in, and if I remember right, they only have to gain control of 5 of the 9 to achieve a victory. Either that or one specific Japanese city for a win as well. So just in my time with it, I think the Soviets are the easier faction to play as.
Yeah. Well, that sounds good. I mean, it sounds like they learned from the first one, and they kind of added a little more, a couple more layers to it for this one. So maybe by each release, they'll just keep growing that system out if they're going to stick with that system.
And new game company too, right? So you give them credit. Look, I love to see these new companies come about and try and do new things and different things. All for that. It's why I get a little frustrated when I see individuals or small handfuls of folks sort of dogpiling on smaller publishers for whatever issue it may be, whether it's a lack of appreciation for the effort, or just dogpiling and have never played. Right? Oh, I read the rules, and this is just like
this is garbage.
It's just garbage, or it's wrong, or it's broken. Well, why don't you just stop? Like let's. That's why I'll certainly be gentler with new companies than I would. I'd rather not review them than review them and give them harsh markdowns, because they're still trying. They're trying to work it out.
Sure.
Vento Nuovo came out of the gates gangbuster with Blocks in the East. It was an amazing game, and I think their games kind of got progressively a little more convoluted and problematic with that Blocks in the East, West, and Africa series. But then he started doing all the Moscow 41 and
Leningrad and all
Leningrad. And they were amazing, and I loved Waterloo 200, and I thought those games were great. But to see people just like digging in and just like Stalingrad's Inferno is an awesome game. It's not historically accurate in terms of reinforcements because it's a random draw, but but it gives you the thematic concerns of that particular battle. which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I'm glad these guys are doing okay.
Yeah,
And then there's,
Blitzen,
of course,
what
a
was it?
couple that just want to be jerks, like we saw on BGG, which is, like the cesspool of jerks.
What,
It
on
seems like
Cock
to
and
go there.
Gall? They were hating on it?
No. They were hating on Vento Nuovo.
On Vento
Oh.
Nuovo and a couple other companies. I mean, even Lock and Load public publishing is getting a hard time at the moment. And I can see people, the lack of communication is not good there. I think it needs to improve. But, I would hope that they're okay as a company, but they're just getting dogpiled because I think Dave has just said, you know what? I'm not going to, anything I say, you come up with some nonsense, so I'm done. So you just get the games when you get them.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to Lock and Load, I mean, I talked to David last time I talked to him was like about 2 weeks ago, and we went through the whole rigmarole as far as what he's been through.
Yep.
And just in a nutshell, I'll let him go into the greater detail because I said to him, I said, when you get settled, you really do need to have a live show and explain all this in detail. So these people that have been dogpiling you and giving you a bunch of grief can understand if they're going to be fair, you're going to be mature adults about it. They say, oh yeah, dude, that sucks. He basically had to move out of one house, which had a lot of stuff in it. And he had to basically grab everything, condense it down, move it out of there so he could sell the house. And then he had to try to find a place where he could live temporarily while his other house was being finished.
Right.
And he was trying to get a month-to-month lease on an apartment that wasn't in like the middle of a ghetto, which is very difficult to do.
Right. And plus his wife is changing jobs
And his
all
wife's
that sort of
changing
stuff.
jobs and everything.
So-
She had like a 4-hour commute and stuff. And I was like, no, dude, that's way too much. That's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
So,
And
and
plus,
then
I
his
mean,
lack of communication. He admits that himself. He could have done that.
and I also think that he was covering bases for probably some errors that popped up in the games that he wasn't aware of that came up late. And I think he's taken the fall for that versus throwing the developer designer under the bus or designers under the bus. And I think there's some of that. And I respect him for doing that. But I don't think, I think there's a point where you can issue a statement and it is what it is, and you can accept it or don't. And as I said, if it was my company, I would send those guys their money back and tell them to go pound salt, and I would never let them purchase from me again. But that's not how you run a business, so I get it.
I do like that. I'm kind of the same, mentality.
If you're not going to work with me, like, look, I don't know why everyone's so upset about that. It's only, where are we at? Is it a year? I think it's a year and a bit. Right?
Yeah, it's longer than expected. But anybody who's
But goodness grief, look at some of the
crowdfunding.
Kickstarter stuff that's going on. There's horde going on.
5 years. Yeah.
3-5 years. So I'm thinking, it's 12 months and it's 4 months late or 6 months late or whatever. All right.
Yeah.
It'll either come or it won't. It's binary. So get over it.
Yeah.
And let's just go play the rest of the shit on your shelves.
I was
Well,
actually
I
going to
have
mention this as far as Kickstarters, not what we talked about before, but something Academy actually did that irritated me, and it wasn't a big deal, so I didn't make a huge deal over it, but I think they screwed the pooch by doing this. Remember that game they did way back in the day, Agents of Mayhem? That was like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
All right, so they're finally delivering.
Wasn't that one with the miniature that was doing that?
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
I liked the game. Honestly, I thought it was critically underrated. I really thought they did a very
That's with
good
the
job.
buildings, right?
Yes.
I
The buildings
so
worked
wanted
so
that game.
well. You should have asked Stuva. He would have sent you a copy of it.
No, I never review Conflicts of Heroes. I can't ask it for it.
Well.
I just can't.
I backed it, so I paid for my copy of it, but he offered to send me one if I hadn't. But the thing that he made a mistake with is they're just now delivering the solitaire module, and it was like a $10, $15, $20 add-on card deck add-on. I forget how much it was. It was between $10 and $20. Thing is they're just delivering it now. They're years late on delivering it, which has already irritated people. But then they asked people to pay $5 for shipping. And I'm like, no, what are you doing? That is such a bad look. It already should have been included when you sent the core game itself, right?
Yeah.
You didn't make it, fine, fair enough. But you don't get to pass along the difference in those shipping costs between then and now on to everyone and say, well, hey, you got to pay us $5 to send it. It's like, well, I already paid you to send it to me. You know, a few years back. It's not my fault you didn't send it when you should have.
Right. Well, whoever they're called, I forget the name of the company now. Starts with an F. They're Swedish. That did Twilight 2000 and Aliens.
Free
and all
League.
that.
Free League.
Free League. Free League. That's it. Free
they
League.
did Aliens.
And so I'm pretty sure they did Aliens, right?
They
Was
did.
that them?
Yeah, they did Aliens,
okay,
One Ring, and all.
Aliens and all that. So
they're killing it right now.
Yeah, they're killing it, right? So Twilight 2000 was supposed to have this module in it. That came out before I moved, so that was over a year and a half, and plus the launch of the thing. So let's call it 2 years. Black Madonna is just now about to be shipped, right? So I'm not fussed about it. They're sending it to me, right? They're sending it to everybody, right? But
they put out PDF like they always do.
Yep. So I've got the PDF and all that sort of good stuff, but it's great, great content, and I'm not paying for the extra shipping either. So that's a thing. So I think Gimpy's on something there, right?
Yeah. I mean, the thing with crowdfunding, I just want to address something real quick here. Tim was saying with L&L, I've been trying to hold my tongue until we actually hear anything bad. I'm not assuming anything. I will say, Tim, when it comes to David, he's actually an incredibly honest guy. And like Kev pointed out, he'll step in front of his people, the designers and stuff, and take the heat. Right. Instead of saying, hey, these guys dropped the ball or whatever. I'm not throwing any darts at anybody, but the thing is his attitude is, I'm the owner of the company. It's all on me. So he's getting the grief. And a lot of people have been saying there's, someone else had said it's rumor about Lock and Load going out of business. No, it's not. They're not going out of business. That's rumor as far as I know. And as far as I think all of us know from talking directly with David, because we text and talk with him on a regular basis. We're friends with him. And if there was anything going on, I can tell you with 100% certainty, he would tell me.
Yeah.
And he would say not to say anything publicly. And I can say 100% honestly, he's not said anything like that at all. So,
right. And same to me, right? I haven't spoken to him for 3-4 weeks, but my last comment before I was banned permanently, I think from BGG, from commenting anyway. I can post my videos because they want my content, but they won't let me comment on anything. But my last comment on there was that, look, he told me this is what's happening, and I believe that. And if I'm wrong, I'm actually okay with being wrong. It's $100.
Yeah.
All these people talking about filing lawsuits and all this sort of stuff. It's just ginning up drama, manufacturing out of thin air nonsense. Anyway, I didn't want to labor the point on L&L. It was a comment about how smaller publishers, and I put them in the smaller publisher bracket because that's 1 or 2 games a year from them versus GMT or MMP, who are doing a great job, by the way, right? They're punching out titles left, right, and center. But I think we owe it to these smaller publishers to give them a little bit of grace and a little bit of a chance to work it out and get better at it. And I'll always grade those guys a little easier than I will, the big boys who should know better when they fubas.
Well, not all of them. I had mentioned this to Mo previously, but you're talking about lawsuits. There is one that they do need either a lawsuit or criminal charges.
Here we go.
I'm going to address it. I'm not talking about Mythic either.
Oh.
I'm not talking about Mythic.
Mythic. Talking about
Mythic's
the Devils?
Yeah. For those who don't know, Devil Pig Games has officially gone out of business. They've closed their doors. They've shuttered, whatever. And these are the people behind the Heroes of Normandy games, right?
Right.
So the square instead of hexes.
Cartoony looking thing that's fun to play.
Yeah.
Right.
Fun game. Now, they had done their Battle of Khan Kickstarter. It did really well. It had big numbers, and they delivered. No problem. I got it sitting right over here. They did after that the Heroes of the Pacific, and supposedly they were working on Heroes of Stalingrad. So they were going to have multiple, games coming out. The thing of it is they did their Heroes of the Pacific Kickstarter. They got a whole bunch of backers, and then there was something wonky that happened with their PayPal, and a lot of people got refunds, or their charges didn't get put through. And people are going, what the hell? And they're trying to comment on the Kickstarter. They're trying to comment to Devil Pig. What's going on? What should we do here? And all of them to a man. And they even put out a statement saying, hey, if this happened with your PayPal, make sure you push that charge through so you get your pledge. And they were pushing people to put those PayPal invoices through up until the moment they shuttered their doors and said, we're done, we're closed. And we're not shipping out any games. We're not shipping out any of the pledges. So this wasn't just the pledges that were made. People were ordering directly from their website and were not getting their orders. And they were getting the runaround. They were getting ignored. And that's when it came out that it looks like someone in the know knew they were going out of business. And they were basically still selling products while they were insolvent. And raped as much as they possibly could from as many people as they could, and then shuttered their doors. That's criminal. That's not just we tried and the Kickstarter failed.
Get your money back out of that, but that son of a bitch needs to go to prison.
Yes, that's actually a fraudulent business practice to continue to take orders when you know you're insolvent and going out of business. You can't.
I wonder how that works. I wonder how that works because they're out of France, right?
Yes, they are out of France.
I wonder how that works when it goes international.
Yeah, good luck. You've never seen it, Kenny. You're done.
No. You're not going to get any money. But as far as like how many charges they can be charged,
some people have been able to get their money back by doing effectively a chargeback through PayPal,
right? Credit card or whatever. Yeah.
They've been able to show that, hey, blah blah blah. This company has gone out of business and they sold me a product when they were insolvent. And PayPal refunded them.
That's the man that's going to give us the answer, and he does.
Well, here's the thing, and here's why I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
I like that one, too.
I backed it, but I missed the portion about finalizing it in GameFound. So now I'm in limbo. I have credits on GameFound, but I can't finalize them. And my camera froze, but I'm still here.
See if they can transfer them back to your account.
I already contacted GameFound, and they're like, well, we can't transfer them. We can't refund them. We can't do anything with it. And I'm like, but you guys have the credits. Like, you got to be able to... Someone's sitting on my money. Whoever it is, you either give it back to me or apply it to something else. I don't care if you apply it to something else. That's fine. Give me a credit on GameFound that I can put towards something else. I would be good with that. But to just have the money sitting out there in a lull, and I'm not the only one in that category, but no one knows what's going on right now because there's a huge amount of mudslinging going back and forth.
Oh, sure. The two developers got posted stuff and going backwards and forwards.
They're slinging mud at that Arnard, whatever his name is, guy.
I know.
Yeah. So what is it called? It's Devil something Productions. Basically, that's the company that owned Devil Pig Games. Right. And he was in charge of that. So they didn't own their own IP. Evidently none of the designers were paid.
Look, I got to say, maybe that's just inexperience or whatever. But shame on them for not having control of their IP. Number one, right? If they're partnering or if they're required, that's one thing. But if they're partnering, that's just dumb. So that sucks for them. But nevertheless, lesson learned, right?
Because it's either them, the designers, the people who are running Devil Pig Games and their website, or it's this parent company. One of them knew that they were going to be shuttering their doors and still took orders up until the last minute and still ran a Kickstarter knowing they had no intention of ever fulfilling it.
Yeah.
Right. Because they got everyone to kind of not take salary and all this sort of stuff and work for free. I've just done that work for free thing for the last few months. It's not fun. So
No.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Daddy's getting paid soon, so that's good.
I want to see someone actually face jail time over this. It's bad enough when Kickstarters do it and there's really no recourse that people have.
Right.
But this wasn't just a Kickstarter thing. This was
Yeah.
the orders they were taking on their direct website.
Well,
but dude, it's France. It's France.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what?
Prison over there is a croissant and a coffee in the morning, and a beautiful ham sandwich baguette at lunch, and you get to choose the color of your jumpsuit. I mean, it's fabulous.
How about we could just make them live in Paris, right? Paris is bad now.
Yeah.
Tell them, hey, you got to live in Paris for 10 years. That's your punishment.
Just put them in one of the no-go zones. Either there or Sweden.
Actually,
there's plenty of those over in Europe right now.
Yeah, I like Paris, but not certain parts of it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
when it comes to stuff like this, it is happening more often, like you were saying before, with Mythic and stuff. What needs to happen in this instance is gamers as customers need to be smart, number one, which they're not. And just not back these games, not back these companies when they go out there, because everyone will say, I'll never back another game. And then they'll be like, hey, we got this and it's got 75 minis. Oh, I'm backing that. They completely forget because they want to forget because they want the new shiny. And they need to be smarter about it, be grown-ups about it, and say, no, we're not backing you ever again. And on top of not backing you, every time I talk about a game, I'm going to say, about games or game companies, and say, Mythic did this. This is what they screwed people out of. This is where we're at right now. Blah, blah, blah. It's this person, this person, this person. Name and shame, because these are businesses. They're making money. It's not like
and don't do business with them anymore, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's not like they're making $10 for a print and play. They're making millions. So if they mismanage it, that's on them. And they're defrauding people out of money. And you need to stop supporting them, stop buying their stuff, and name and shame. Put their names out there to destroy their name in the industry at that point. I'm sorry. So that's the only way to do business.
Did you guys hear about the and this is some Euro game, right? So I mean, and I'm gonna pull a pin out of the hand grenade and hold on to it for a second and let it cook. So it's just a Euro, but the Euro game that went on Kickstarter, that all the games were made and then shipped to the US and then they were stolen.
No.
You guys hear about this?
No.
And then they ended up on eBay, and people started eBay and not the Facebook Wargamers group, but some group somewhere on Facebook, and people were buying the games. And finally, someone said, "Hang on a second, that hasn't been released yet. How do you have 20 copies for sale?" I'm going to post a link. They actually
did they buy it from China?
Oh, content failed to post. No, they stole the pallets of games and then sold and were trying to sell them online. It was hilarious.
But that would make them easy to catch, because no matter how far you put yourself outside of it, you follow the money, you'll find the person eventually.
Yeah, so they got busted. They got all the games back except for the ones that were already sold. Let me see if I can do this.
Well, Kev's looking at that. Justin also brings up a point, which is kind of spins off what I was saying. Not just the companies, but we need to make sure that people involved are not supported when they start a new company or join an existing one. That's very true. That's why it's important to name and shame these people, so that way their reputation precedes them and they're basically, poison wherever they go. Because and I'm not talking about a mistake, or you mismanage money one time, and you get yourself in over your head. You make things right. It takes you 5 years to do it, but you make things right. That's an honest effort. It's a mistake. Okay, fine. But when you do it repeatedly, you're defrauding people. You're a criminal. That needs to be out there, and that needs to be that big criminal tattoo needs to be put on your head permanently.
Is that libel though? So let's say
Tiny Epic Games is the name of the company. I just posted private.
Okay.
It was a Tiny Epic game that did that.
Yeah, it got stolen. Their games got stolen, right? And so they've got a really cool little cartoon about it. The case of the Anaheim heist. Crime is occurred, full of leads, and then they friggin' got these dudes. It's hilarious. They got all their shit back.
What morons!
Oh my god!
No, would that be libel though? Let's say I took and made a video, and I named the mythic people and said these people are shysters. They're fraudulently doing bad business.
You've got to be careful. You've got to be careful about your wording about that.
Yeah.
The US is different and has different laws. If you do it in Australia or France, and if they're domiciled in a foreign country, they have much stricter libel and defamation laws.
I mean, they couldn't go after me from another country, though.
Sure they can. Sure they can.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean,
But dude, it costs $120 to file a lawsuit. So
what are they going to? Not to get into my personal business too much, but technically, the money I get paid is judgment proof. I can't have a judgment levied against it.
You own a house, dude. So
that they could probably go after.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So look, it's how you word it, right? It's use the word alleged and all this sort of stuff. And
Yeah, that's why they always say the alleged shooter on the video that shows you the guy shooting the guy in the back.
It's the guy popping the guy, right? And they go with the alleged shooter.
Because he's not been convicted.
This is the alleged crimes that they did. These alleged assholes who stole a bunch of alleged money.
Pretty much what you got to do. You got to speak.
Yeah, I would just kind of leave that alone if I were you, Kim. I'm just
dude. I've already made like 4 or 5 videos calling them assholes.
Well, good.
Well, they're going to come after. They're going to come after Whiskey Charlie now and sue us.
What are they going to say? All I've done is point out that they have spent money that was supposed to be spent on other things that people paid them, and then said, "Pay us again, or don't get what you paid us for the first time."
Yeah,
that's what they've done.
Well, that's a whole other thing. That's another thing.
Yeah. And that's the thing.
Is there anything positive happening in the world? What's going on? Come on, guys.
Well, on the Kickstarter front, we're going to talk about the greatest war game ever, U-Boat, just refunded again for their
LEDs
new one with
this
the
time.
big LED-driven, what do you call it, miniature. So you're going to have this really
Do they
cool
have an
miniature in your
update
worker
kit?
placement game.
World's largest miniature.
World's largest miniature for your worker
Can't get
placement.
that anywhere.
Is there an update for those who got the first one?
Of course not.
There may be now that they come out with a second one and got people for more money for the same game with the new world's largest
With the
miniature
new
with
app.
LEDs.
Oh, U-Boat is by Phalanx? Damn,
Yeah.
did not realize that.
You didn't know that?
No.
That's always been the case.
They're not supposed to deliver until February of 2025. I'll be dead by then. What the hell?
So they can have all $5.
Yeah. Looks like, you can do just the. Are you kidding me? 99 pounds for just the model itself?
Yep.
Blow me. That is not reasonable at all.
Speaking of defamation things.
So
This is ridiculous, man. You can get the whole bundle for $160.
yeah,
The new crap and all. The
See,
base
I don't know,
collector's
coming.
edition.
You could have sold your old Euro game, war game of the year, and
the best map ever.
best map
Ever.
ever.
It's not worth $100. I didn't even
now-
play the game $100 worth. What the hell? No.
So now we're going to go back to wargaming for a second, and we're gonna talk
U-Boat
about
is the
Revolution
epitome
and
of
their set.
wargaming.
What's that?
U-Boat is the epitome of wargaming. Kev's
You're an
all-time
ass.
favorite game.
No. It's a worker placement game with a miniature, but there is a Revolution has their big sale right now, up to 50%
Yes.
off. So
Yes.
that is
Big
awesome.
sale.
They have a lot of
Yes.
great games.
Hope, say that again. I spaced out what you were saying.
MMP. Revolution.
Oh, Revolution.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, Revolution. Did MMP announce theirs?
Not yet, but it's coming.
Yeah. A war game
Stop it, meandering, Mike.
versus a war game. That'll be a topic for another show. But check out Revolution. And we were talking about small publishers. They're a small publisher, and they're very deliberate in the release of their games. And all their games that come out are pretty damn rock solid. So
Yep.
I know Roger does an amazing job with developing those games, checking them out, going over them with a fine tooth comb, and especially anything he's involved in directly. You can buy with confidence. Now, it may not be a game that you like, the subject or whatever, but the gameplay is going to be rock solid. So there are plenty of games to get from them that are really, really good.
Yeah, and also, as Mike points out, I was going to bring this up. Blue Panther has a sale.
Yes.
Even White Dog's overpriced. Even White Dog's games are on sale this year.
Well, they've got that zombie game I want to get. That didn't they do that? Yeah, Zombie Night was it or whatever it was?
Yeah, the night.
Yeah, that one. I wanted to get that one.
Yeah, 15% off.
Yeah, get the night and get the Moog. So that we have both.
The Moog.
And get World War Z too, or Zed, I think it's called. But that was a fun one. That's a fun one because it's just something that as you go, you try to contain one area. Things just keep expanding out across the map of the United States, and it's just a cluster.